Hi, so it's been a couple of days since the US decided to extradite Julian Assange. So I've put all stops on hold for this, and I'm taking a intermission from calculus to talk about alternatives to democracy and plutarchy and fascism and socialism and communism. So, suppose that a local DAO, that's Decentralized Autonomous Organization, is has a proposal of a governance system that, I guess if you were to give it a name, it's best called futarchy, which means that voting is not majority rules, but rather, and it's not a subjective consensus, but rather, and it's not completely an auction either. So it's constantly voting using, say, cryptocurrency, and there are rewards for the proposals that have the most votes in the end, and possibly punishments for the ones that don't. And so people are motivated to come to a consensus. And there are also ways to prevent this from becoming a plutarchy. Like using quadratic voting, so your vote, like the way that votes are tallied has to do with the square of the sum of the votes, or something like that, and or the sum of the squares. But and also to avoid collusion and bribery. So the value of the cryptocurrency that you vote with also depends on how long you held that cryptocurrency for. So that counteracts bribery. As for collusion, well, basically this is something that is currently being worked on by many people. But I have a simple idea. I simply meditated, which, by the way, I recommend very much. It can save you so much wasted time digging through textbooks and articles and literature and mathematical equations, and come up with new ideas that work, that are a combination of many great ideas out there, but not any particular one. Alright, so they want to implement, it's kind of like a futarchy, okay? It's gonna be this particular idea of a futarchy, which is that it's also similar to how the Apache Software Foundation works, which is similar to how GitHub works. So the Apache Software Foundation and GitHub, this is how software developer communities, open source as well, get software done, which is that anyone who has a project idea can automatically start working on it, and it becomes a proposal like this. And anyone who supports it can vote for it simply by working on it and joining it. So this is the vote, this is the proposal. And if no one supports a proposal, then no one's going to work on that project. So naturally, great proposals will work, whether they're great because, you know, they have one person who makes it really successful, or because they have a lot of supporters. And then, based on people's past contributions and proposals and work and projects, they tend to get a reputation which then allows them to have greater leadership and decision-making abilities. And they can, well, say publish to the website, or make decisions on proposals, or just, yeah. Okay, and then there's another thing which is, well, decentralized autonomous organizations, such as, well, yeah, there's a few, especially here locally, and there's some really great ideas within this space, and some of them that are already being created, such as everyone joins by staking some amount of cryptocurrency, and then they vote using cryptocurrency. And in order to avoid, well, people having to consent to things they don't agree to simply because the majority agrees with it, they have this cool idea, which is that anyone can rage quit anytime. So this also incentivizes the voters to vote on things that benefit the society as a whole. Otherwise, there will be no society left to support them. And as for me, I, in addition, would like to add the idea of anyone can make a proposal. So, anyone can propose without having to pay money to join the organization, and without having to vote. They can directly, like, if they don't have any money to contribute to voting, they can still contribute ideas. Even better, we could also have people who don't have ideas, who don't have money, so you vote with money, but they can contribute labor, or just work, I'd say, of any sort of work. And people could contribute their own cryptocurrency token. Like, let's say that, so they could contribute their own token, which can be used to purchase services from their business. Alright, so let's say that we have a DAO that has this proposal of a mechanism for proposals and voting and funding and contributing and funding. Alright, let's say that there is a farmer I think that looks like a farm. Who is tired of paying Visa or paying banks to have people, to pay them from their customers, or tired of paying the banks and Visa to keep their earnings in a bank account and manage their funds, with all the charges associated, and they want to just sell to customers directly, locally and even internationally. So over the sea, over the web. Without fees. In other words, they want a cryptocurrency wallet. Not only a cryptocurrency wallet, they want their own blockchain with a token. Let's call it the farm token on the farm blockchain, so that they can also purchase whatever things they need. They can purchase equipment, they can pay employees, anything, alright? And they can say, hey, we'll pay you in farm token, which you can use to buy any of our services, like food. So the farmer goes to the DAO, or they find each other either way. And they're like, hey, I see this proposal. And they say, I want to support it by farm token. Better yet, I want to support it by ideas as well. And these guys are, on the other hand, these guys are asking for people to support with tokens and money. And these guys, well, what's the benefit of them supporting this is with tokens and ideas beforehand, instead of waiting for someone else to support it, is that now they have decision-making power to customize the building of this product to fit their own needs. So these guys might want ideas, those guys might have needs. These guys need funding. And these guys get advertising because they're spreading their name, the FRM, farm, to these people. So it's a interchange of advertising. with their support, the DAO builds. Okay, how am I gonna write this? Let's go. Let's go this way. Futarchy / ASF / DAO. And the nice thing is that people can branch off. Every time that someone has an idea, they can branch off a proposal for people to vote on. And there can be obviously multiple proposals. Alright, so now they've created this product, and they offer it as a open source software to the community. So now we've got open source software, which is the Futarchy / ASF / DAO platform. And they build it on say Aragon. And they originally were using Slack. But they wanted something that had a more organized way of funding and voting, other than let's just message everyone a question and count how many people like the various choices, and oh wait, but there's a problem, which is that we don't know how many votes each person is able to have, and so on and so forth. And also, it's like, how do we count the votes other than majority rules? Like, how do we make a decision? How do we come to a consensus without having Futarchy? So, okay, now we've gone from Slack and Sad Farmer to Aragon. Alright, so what's useful about, what incentive do they have to keep this open source, to keep it well documented? So free and good documentation so that it's user friendly. Well, there's plenty of incentives for that, because they want to get as many users as possible. So if you make it easy to use and free, then people will come, and then that gives you advertising without having to pay an advertising company, because you'll be popular by word of mouth. And then if you want, the DAO could take their software and be like, okay, well, we're going to have some proposals, which, we're going to have some features that cost money. So here's their advertising, and here is their revenue in exchange for innovation. And once again, we've got, workers can contribute, people can pay in tokens, people can pay in people can pay so that they can vote to make decisions. And people can pay the company using ideas. Alright, and then maybe this is something for the future, but maybe one day the DAO no longer wants to use Aragon because Aragon became, like it shut down, or it charged too many fees, or it became, like it started bribing other companies to extradite Julian Assange and suppress competitors and dissenting voices, and like colludes with Russia in order to take over power and creates a surveillance state. Then the DAO could say, all right, it's time to propose a new idea. Which is, we're going to program our own. Do it yourself. And we're going to go DIY. So, yeah, I think that's how voting, decision-making, organization, funding, innovation, this whole society can work.